We're here with Mark at the National Automotive History Collection in downtown Detroit. And Mark, tell us a bit about this collection that you've had recently come to the Automotive History Collection.
Yeah, it's Taillight Diplomacy. It was started by Rick Schnitzler and John Dowland in the mid-1990s. And the purpose of the collection and the mission of the organization was to promote trade and communication with car owners in Cuba. When Castro took over Cuba in 1960 and the embargo set in, there's all these great Detroit vehicles, pre-1960 Detroit iron, still in Cuba. And what they do, and if you go to Cuba today, you still see these cars everywhere.
The same cars from the Revolution.
Exactly. And what they do is, because there's no free trade and they can't get the parts and the stuff that they need to really restore these and keep them running, they do whatever they can to keep them going. So there's a lot of makeshift, a lot of backyard mechanicking going on, and the purpose of Taillight Diplomacy is trying to get the Cuban government and the U.S. government to allow trade of parts, information, communication to be passed back and forth, and to help assist the Cubans maintain these vehicles and keep them running. So that's a collection that's an organization that's still alive and viable. They're based out of Philadelphia, but they've donated their collection, which is now about 20-some boxes of material.
Are there pictures in this collection?
There are some photographs, slides, publicity, communications, all documenting their efforts.
You get to see the actual cars.
Yep.
And how they've kept them up.
Yep. So it's a terrific collection. We're happy to have it, and we hope someday that it'll be much easier to help the Cubans maintain a lot of our Detroit automobile history.
Some of the classic cars that we would have known from the 50s.
Yeah, 50. All the major, Packards, Chevys, Hudsons, Cadillacs, Dodge, all of those brands, you can still see them there in Cuba.
Now, some of the literature that's with the collection, does it give the history of the cars or their owners?
That, it does not. But what we do have here in the Automotive History Collection, apart from the Taillight Diplomacy, is we do have original sales literature from the 5th going back to the turn of the century. So factory service manuals, photographs, original sales literature of all of these vehicles are here.
Okay. Who do you expect would come to see this collection here in Detroit?
Anyone who's interested in promoting that effort to open up access to Cuba and open up access between Cuba and the United States. And then those interested in a number of people have come by, who are aware that there were these cars in Cuba, a lot of American-made cars still in Cuba, and so they come by to see the collection. And then there's been 1 or 2 books written about these cars, so people are aware of it, and it's it's like stepping back in time, where when you go there, you see all these cars, it's like 1950s America all there.
So other than actually going to Cuba, this is probably the only collection you can view to look at the cars.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Conrad.